Good evening, everybody. Welcome to APPF1 Tier 3. We are here for round 2. That's the Human Rights Grand Prix. And it is time for another Monday night of racing. Hello to everybody in the chat. Nice of you to join me early doors as the first cars head out on to the track. Let's quickly get bits and bobs set up. So, the first car on track at the moment is Josh the Guy. So, whilst they're quickly doing their outlaps, let's just quickly feed upon the standings from last week, as we are entering round 2 of this Tier 3 season, round 2 of 10, and let's here we go, Tier 3 standings. So it's pretty much the race results from last week. So we have Lufus in the Mercedes in first position, and we've got Drogon in second. Runes is in third, Joey B in fourth, LB Racing in fifth, Stanley in sixth, Robsu in seventh, Ralphie in eighth, Finding Nino in ninth, James Gardner in 10th, Josh the Guy in 11th, Tier in 12th, iLegends in 13th, MS in 14th, Bacon Bear in 15th, and Primeval and Avenir are yet to score points and yet to race, as both of those drivers are not here. Sorry, I just missed someone's message saying they'll be racing from next week. Let's fire up YouTube again. As we get ready for Josh the Guy to start his first flying lap, and we'll ride on board with him for this first attempt around this very tricky street circuit. So turns 1 and 2 negotiated nicely there. Turn 3, blink and miss it. Turn 4, very infamous turn 4. Be as brave as you want, and he has invalidated pretty much instantly. So we will go to the next car, which will be MS, I believe. So we are on board with MS through this tight and windy sector 1. Rides that curb on the left-hand side as well. Ah, hello, Avenir. It makes sense now. ASR, Avenir Sinharoy, yeah, I do apologise. Welcome into the Tier 3 YouTube stream. We look forward to seeing you back on track next week. So MS will be the leading car across the line. We will see how he does. I can definitely improve on this lap. Definitely, he got caught on the sausage curb in sector 1. As we will keep an eye on LB Racing as well. And Tia will also keep an eye on him too. As around the last corner does come MS, we have 3 DRS zones on this circuit. So opens the DRS wing, sticks to the left-hand side. Yeah, it's way down to 131.1. So a bit of effort to go there. So the next Aston Martin should be coming to the line. Stanley, that is 29. And the times are tumbling down already. Runes is in 1 minute 28.7, 1 minute 28.4 from Joey B. He has been putting in lots of practice for this qualifying session with today and tomorrow in mind. And a 128.4 is very strong. Lufus, last week's winner, and last week's winner by some distance as well. Good evening, Dakar in the chat. Lovely to see you pop up and say hello. As Lufus is approaching the final corner, I believe he is actually he has invalidated. So into the pits as Drogon is going to have a go for another lap. He did invalidate that last attempt. So you can be aggressive into the turn 1 here, try and attack the curb as much as you can to give yourself the better angle into the second part, the second right-hander. So this first sector is looking pretty handy by Drogon at the moment. It's keeping it nice and steady and close to the walls as well. drop down to 5th and 6th, just helps your traction, car rotation. And now he sets himself on to the long left-hander, the furthest point away from the start-finish straight on the circuit. And now it's just a never-ending flowing part of the track. You've got this corner here. He turned in a bit too early there, would have lost a couple of tenths turning in early there, but still Drogon is on course for a good lap here. So now, once again, the drifting and flowing of this Cornish Jeddah circuit is really great to drive on. It's a superb street circuit track, the fastest street circuit track on the calendar as well. So Drogon coming up to the final corner. DRS is opened, finds his braking point, and clips that apex nicely. Opens his rear wing. Does he in the moment? No. Is he coming into the pits? No, he's going to the line. Hugs as much as he can to the inside. It's a 27.9 by Drogon. That is pretty competitive, but I know Joey B can set that kind of time too from when I've practiced with him. So we do have James Gardner, who has just started a lap in the Ferrari. Ended last season very strong, did James Gardner, but didn't have the first race he would have liked last week at Qatar. So I'm already beginning to struggle to remember what race it was last week. But Qatar we was at last week, and it's looking like a nice hooked up first sector. Doesn't drop a gear like we saw Drogon do on that previous attempt. So definitely time for James Gardner to be made here, as there are a few drivers going slowly on track. I'd imagine there might be a few running low on fuel heading back to the pits, as what I like to do is just have the car with the least amount of fuel in as possible. Yes, Drogon has always been fast in qualifying, even when he just used to race in Tier 2. He was always very capable. One lap pace is definitely his strongest point, but just being consistent in the race and is his biggest Achilles heel. As James Gardner is coming up to the line, and James Gardner jumps up to 5th position. It's a 29.2. Ralphie comes into the pits. We have got Robsu coming out of the last corner now, as Robsu darts towards the line using the last of his ERS, and up to 10th for Robsu. So 130.4. We do have a Bacon Bear sporting the pretty in pink Visa Cash App Racing Bull, and what a livery this is. By far the best livery on the game. As Bacon Bear coming down towards the Sector 2 line. She is actually invalidated at some point, which is a great shame to see. So Lufus, last week's Wace sound like Roy Hodgson or Jonathan Wass there. Apologies for my terrible pronunciation. But Lufus coming up to the Sector 1 line. It's a 32.5. Where will that place him on the track? So far he's running nicely. A 32.5 I think is in the competitive window to be up there. We'll also keep an eye on LB Racing, who is pushing that Ferrari as hard as he can as well. We'll keep an eye on LB's first sector time in a moment as well. So Lufus is a 1:06 over that second sector point. So as LB does a 32.5 as well, so he's on par with Lufus here. Lufus is already out of ERS going into the final corner. Will gain a little bit under braking, but already you can see how empty it is. That's going to really hurt that Mercedes going up to the line, but it does not stop him from getting pole position. It's a 1:27.7, a fantastic lap from Lufus, and he is pole position. LB Racing is not as fast as Lufus, I can tell you that. It's looking like he's half a second down. So Lufus is definitely the most committed driver to the circuit here, as this track requires ultimate commitment, especially in Sector 1. Sector 1 can make or break your lap here. Once you've done Sector 1, you've done the hard work, really, around this Jeddah circuit. So LB Racing coming up to the line and goes third position. So 128.3 and LB is up there. So we do have Nemo sporting the Gulf Williams livery. We'll see if Nemo is improving on his lap time. We've also got Josh the Guy as well on a lap who has just started a lap. Nemo looks to be up by almost half a second, so a good improvement is on the cards here for Nemo in the Williams. Midfield last race was Nemo in his first ever APP race. We'll be looking to build upon that, and it's definitely a promising start for the Williams driver. Still half a second up, runs very wide there, and that's an invalidation for Nemo. That's very unfortunate. Josh the Guy, I believe, was also on a lap. So Josh the Guy comes across the Sector 2 line. He's 2 tenths down on his personal best, I think. As now this last sector is pretty much just kind of a straight. That it's a curved straight, although it makes no sense whatsoever. But the one breaking point in Sector 3 is the last corner, and he's actually bailed into the pit lane. Runes is looking pretty rapid as we jump on board with Runes in the Mercedes, running as close as he dares to the wall as well, and not making contact with the wall, so he is not losing any time here. So Runes needs to pick his braking and turning point into this very tricky left-right hander, but it feels so good if you nail it. We call it the isn't straight Lawrence. Yeah, well, it's nice to have a straight here. Human Rights Grand Prix is insane. I'm just vouching for a good friend of mine. Robsu on a lap. As Robsu goes for a spin, I've done that a few times in practice, and it's so helpless if you catch that curb. James Gardner is actually up on his time. Nothing straight about this stream. Okay, what are we hinting at? So the Ferrari is James Gardner, and James Gardner will be looking to elevate his position, ideally up to the top, as we have got 4 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. So to the line goes James Gardner, and he goes up to 6th. That's a half a second improvement, I think the game said, and he is up to 6th. So it's still a very competitive time for James Gardner, as a few of the drivers now will be heading out for their final attempts. Here we've got Bacon Bear on a lap. And I think Bacon Bear could well be the only driver on a lap. We've also got Tier, actually, who is out on a lap and will be across the line soon. Joey B is invalidated. We'll stay on board with Tier, and then we'll jump back to Bacon Bear. Bacon Bear is the only driver to not set a time at the moment. We'll see how Bacon Bear fares up. So there are special liveries on the game where you can alternate the liveries, as Tier goes up to 7th position, and this was the VCarb Miami livery, for those who are asking, and it is probably the best livery on the game, without a doubt. It's not even a close debate, in all honesty. as Bacon Bear has invalidated, and unfortunately, unless Bacon Bear is fueled up for another lap with no ERS, it's going to be quite a way off the pace. Drogon is on a lap. We will follow his progress. We've got Joey B also on a lap. We will follow his progress too. He is not far behind. Drogon. Tier is not on a lap. No, there isn't a restriction on liveries. You can run whichever team livery you like. So obviously there's a standard, or you can run the special liveries. I know some drivers like to alternate liveries to make it more distinctive as to who is who. I believe I did it last season with Joe in Elite tier, or whichever tier I think it was. We just ran different liveries, and it just made it easier. So Joe has invalidated, and that is not what he wants to see. Drogon has not invalidated. So around the last corner for Drogon. He's going to be pushing that Kicksauber as fast as he can up towards the start-finish line. Can he improve? And he does. It's a 1:27.1, an absolutely stonker of a lap. That is absolutely crazy. So the challenge has been laid down to Lufus. He is an absolute speed demon with pure pace. And that is borderline might get his hand slapped for tier 3 pace by the big man Ghost. As we've got Josh the Guy coming round the last corner. Yeah, that'll probably be a very respectable tier 1 time as well. In fairness, we have got Stanley on track. Stanley will be looking to build on last week's effort too. He's got one podium to his name in APP, and I'm sure he will want another one, as this Jeddah circuit will be really unpredictable, and it will be basically who can keep the car out of the barriers and not get any wing damage, but also turn 4 will be the Achilles heel for a couple of drivers here today, as the checkered flag is now officially out on track. We do have a car around in the last corner. Not too sure what it is. That is a very fast lap, and Hugo bemoaning how much faster it is than him at the moment. We will keep an eye on Lufus here. Denko's protege, I believe, as Lufus comes up to the line. It's a 1:27.4. Still a very respectable time, and even in tier 2, that would be an incredibly respectable time as well. So Rune's coming around the last corner as well. There's a few drivers just looking to get out of the way. There is an improvement further back. I didn't catch who it was, unfortunately. Rune's up to the line, doesn't improve. 1:28.2 is third position at the moment, and LB jumps up to third with a 1:28.1, as LB pretty much goes on par with the best time I have done around this Jeddah circuit. So it's nice to see that I'm equal on pace with a 2-time tier 3 champion. I'd love to race in tier 3 LB, but my master won't let me. So, pole position for Jeddah is Drogon with a 1:27.166, a barnstormer of a lap. Lufus is in second position, joining him on the front row. LB Racing in third. Runes is in fourth. On the third row, Joey B and Josh the Guy. Fourth row is James Gardner and Tier. Ninth position, we've got Stanley. 10th is Nemo. 11th is Robsu. MS is in 12th. Ralphie is 13th. And Bacon Bear rounds off the track. Rounds off the grid a whole 7 seconds, or 7.2 seconds behind Drogon. And back in the day, I'm not even sure if it's still a rule, actually, the 107% rule. If you was outside a certain time, then it was down to the other teams to vote if you could race or not. So everybody is on the grid and lining up their strategies, managing their fuel loads as we wait for this race start. Denko saying he isn't doing 27.1. Believe in yourself, Denko. Believe. That's unlucky, Bacon Bear. But yeah, I saw you do 32 and invalidated. Just keep it clean. If you don't retire, you're going to score points. Crazy lap times says, who is that? I can't read his name. Oh, I don't know, some waster in tier 2. Anyway, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's lights out for the Human Rights Grand Prix. It's a very slow start for Lufis there. I'm not too sure what happened at the start for him there, but he has been swallowed up by the field there. He has gone from second all the way down to fifth and potentially sixth, as there's a bit of a scuffle there, as we have seen both Ferraris, I think that was, actually just losing positions, as LB has definitely lost position and Drogon is gone. Drogon is 1.7 seconds clear, and I think there may be a VSC. We do have a VSC, not too entirely sure what has happened at the start there. LB and Rune's fatalities. Oh. Yes, so and LB does have front wing damage, so last season's championship protagonists have come together. I'm not here to comment on who's at fault, Hugo. I'm here to dramatise the race as best as I can, as we are back under racing conditions, and Drogon has had a dream start and he is 1.7 seconds clear of Joey B. Lufis is in third position in the Mercedes, clawing back the positions he lost at the start. Not too sure what happened there, but Tier is up to fourth. It's a great start. Let's quickly get up the position changes on the left here, and let's just quickly get other bits up as well. We'll stick with this for now. So Drogon keeps first position. Joey B is up 3 positions. He'll be delighted with that. Lufis is in third position at the moment, as we see a move from Lufis on Joey B into turn 1. Joey B will know that he might not be on Lufis's pace today, so will not fight him and hopefully use him as a good pace car ahead, as Lufis has already set himself about Drogon. Tier is up 4 positions. James Gardner is at 2 positions. Runes has lost 2 positions. Josh the Guy is in 7th. I think he's kept that position, although there's a 1 next to his name. Stanley is at 1 position. Robsy's at 2. Ralphie and Bacon Bear at 3. LB Racing, tonight's biggest loser, losing 9 positions. MS has kept P13, and Nemo has lost 4 positions at the start. So let's have a look at the tyre strategies. So I am anticipating a one-stop race here, and a few drivers are banking on the hard tyres. So 4 of the 14 drivers are on the hard tyres. So that leaves 10 cars on the medium tyres, as Bacon Bear is the first driver to pick up track limits on lap 2 of 25, and this race will pass in a blink of an eye. So we'll definitely keep an eye on Lufis, who has already dropped Joey B behind him, and Joey B has his tier 2 teammate in close proximity behind him, as I believe there will not be any sort of team instructions between these two. Lufis sets the fastest lap as well, as he crosses the line and is really beginning to reel in the kick salver on lap 3. Drogon must have been buzzing with the race start he had, but now he's got the worst driver possible chasing him down for that pole position. Drogon may have had mighty race pace, but Drogon may have had mighty qualifying pace, but race pace falls to Lufis. We saw last week he was just really comfortable, and it is mega paced by the Mercedes, just reeling in Drogon. Joey B still in third position, but has a little bit of a train behind him. Just 2 cars behind him, actually. He's got a bit of a gap to Runes, but Runes is closing up, and Runes escaped any damage after that lap 1 incident with LB Racing. If anyone's going to get some overtakes done, it will be Runes, and Runes has had his nerf lifted for the start of this Tier 3 season. He did lose racing line halfway through last season, as we kind of see it just stall his progress. Oh no, Bacon Bear said she had to change her front wing and the game didn't do it. There is no worse feeling when the game screws you over like that. It is not nice. We will keep an eye on Lufis and the battle for this podium as well. This is all too hard to keep an eye on in the background as well. We'll try and keep an eye on it as Tier is pulling out on Joey B for third position, as side by side through turns 1 and 2. Turn 3, you blink and you miss it. They're still side by side, and the Ferrari of James Gardner will be very interested as to what's going on here. But all this battling is just going to cost time to the front 2. But the front 2 are in a league of their own as it stands at the moment. Dirty air through sector 1 for James Gardner, tucked right under the gearbox of that McLaren. You can see he is gone. His Ferrari could not live with the dirty air, and back on track, and Runes swoops around the outside and picks up a time penalty for his worries there. Maybe just avoiding who was it who went off? James Gardner. So maybe just avoiding him. So if that was evasive action to not hit the Ferrari driver, then he could well be able to remove that penalty if he gets no more track limits. Yeah, the death curb is horrible. The sausage curb is pretty lethal around here. So we'll stick on board with Lufis for the time being, as Joey B is still holding on to third position. Somehow has got Tier behind him, as now Lufis is on the case of the Kick-Sauber once again. He is comfortably within DRS, and maybe it's just a case of managing his ERS now, as they're both on a similar level, as Tier has another look up to the inside of Joey B. Joey B hangs it around the outside. Nicely done, as just nicely orchestrated. Tier is looking very racy in the McLaren here. Do not want to have 2 cars going side by side through turn 4. That is suicidal, as again they're going to lose more time battling like that. And now James Gardner all on the back of the McLaren. You do not want to light up the rears. I can just anticipate how heavily he was pressing down on the accelerator there, as wasn't very light-footed. So now Josh Tagai and Runes is not far away, and we're going to have, Runes will be within DRS, and so will Stanley. So all of a sudden, the battle for the podium is all the way from 3rd all the way down to 8th position. Robsu is the 2nd and a half, as we can see behind Joey B and James Gardner. Oh, does he want to put his car there? No, that is a very brave corner to put the car. You've got plenty of straights to overtake, and I don't understand why you'd want to put your car at the inside of that corner. Probably a bit of inexperience or just impatience there from James Gardner. It's a very rare mistake from the Ferrari driver, as he has fallen to the back of the DRS train. He's still within the DRS train, and now Robsu has joined the DRS train. So 3rd down to 9th is pretty much a DRS battle. There is there's 2 cars spun around there, and that looked like Joey B and Tier, and it was Joey B and Tier, as Tier again just lighting up the rears there, as really costs him and Joe a good shot at the podiums here. Yellow flags have gone. As crazy this race is going, and now we have Stanley going off and picking up a 3-second time penalty, and this race is really kicking off now. Drogon still leads Lufis, and now it's a 9.1 second gap to Runes. Runes does have a time penalty, but possible removal. I'm not saying it's a definite removal, Maybe he avoided James Gardner rejoining the track earlier on. So Josh Tagai is up to 4th position. This is a much better performance from Josh Tagai this week. Last week he was in no man's land and out of the race, just running towards the back end of the field. So Lufis on the case of the Kick-Sauber now and sizing up a move for the lead, maybe just getting an undercut here as Lufis is actually low on ERS, but Lufis jumps into the pits on at the end of lap 6. Will he be going on to hard tyres? Excuse me. Yes, he is. He's on the hard tyres. Wondering if this is going to be a 1 or a 2 stop race now. We can see Robsu up the inside of Stanley running side by side. Never rule out Robsu. As there's a bit of unnecessary wheel banging there between Robsu and Stanley. Once again, I'm not going to call it. That's a 2 stop, says Kevin in the chat. Could well be a 2 stop pitting that early. Incredibly early. Maybe Lufis just wants to get clear air as Tier is having a nightmare as Lufis gets through, and that will be a key overtake for Lufis there to have clear air as he dispatched Tier very quickly. So Joey B running down in 6th. Won't be a happy bunny down in 6th position after him and Tier have come together. And Tier was kind of teasing that the last couple of laps with their moves going into turns 1 and 2. I can't really say it's a big surprise to see that they was both facing the wrong way. As just look at the pace of Lufis behind on the fresh hard tyres. Monstrous. Absolutely monstrous from the Mercedes. Perhaps confident that he can gain a pit stop on Drogon with his race pace, and from what we've seen so far, he's got a great chance. His 2nd position is only at the end of the straight that he's halfway down is Lufis, so he is having a great first opening half to this race. Drogon just sitting comfortably out front, 11.8 seconds clear of James Gardner, and still just the gap's hovering around 11.9 at the moment, so nullifying the gap out front at the moment as Josh Tagai in 3rd position and looking to try and stay within DRS of James Gardner. Perhaps maybe just the hard tyres are coming in to their own now on lap 8 of 25, as Josh Tagai should just be within the DRS detection point on the back of James Gardner. Stanley in 4th. He does have a time penalty, but it's a good outing from Stanley at the moment as well. We'll see how this race unfolds as the pit stops will settle the grid down potentially, as Lufis is on the back of Robson already. Another impressive race from our Mercedes driver, and is leading the way in Tier 3. As onto the back of Robsu, he will get this overtake done. I'm fairly confident, unless Robsu is going to come into the pits. He isn't, because Lufis blocks the entrance for him at the moment as Robsu veers away from the Mercedes, and now Lufis sets himself about Stanley just ahead. As we will keep an eye on Lufis at the moment, because he is the driver making things happen on the track, as he is getting all the overtakes done. And I just would just like to see the sheer pace he has got over the rest of the field. He is on newer tyres, remember. Just the dirty air really hurting the Mercedes there, but you can see the drive he's got on the Aston Martin there, as the Aston Martin is actually conserving ERS, and Lufis gets the overtake done, and I think Stanley did back out of that, but maybe just maybe having the idea of using the DRS to pull himself along, as Lufis is going to be on the back of Josh Tagai very quickly, as we got yellow flags towards the back. Not too sure as it sorts itself out, not too sure who that was for. don't think it was anything disastrous, as LB and Runes are again in close proximity on the track. So Nemo is kind of in no man's land towards the back with MS. Unfortunately for Bacon Bear, in 14th at the back of the grid. But hanging in there, that's all that matters. And now the gap out the front is 11.1 seconds to between Drogon and James Gardner, as we do have an overtake down the back straight, as Tier does get past Joey B without contact this time. I missed the incident, so I can't. I wouldn't even put an opinion on what happened anyway. As through turns 4 goes Tier, and has Joe B looking like his tyres have checked out for this stint, struggling through sector 1. As I would anticipate a Joey B pit stop at the end of this lap. LB and Runes, last season's Tier 3 protagonists, but just not, unfortunately, close together in this year's championship thus far. Runes having a good start to the season last week, and will be looking to build up as much of a gap as he can on LB Racing early doors. LB it just goes about quietly and does very consistently get good results, and that's what's hauled him to 2 Tier 3 titles at the moment. But the way Lufus is driving already, we do have there are early whispers on the paddock of a new Tier 3 champion just ploughing through the field as it stands. As now Lufus is on the case of Drogon, and Lufus, I'm fairly confident, will pit again, as but if he does pit, he could go onto the medium tyres, and if he goes onto the medium and Drogon will go onto the hards, then the offset is going to be pretty handy in the battle towards the end of this race. So let's just quickly have a look at the pit stops. So we have 5 drivers left to pit, which is Drogon, James Gardner, Josh Tagai, Stanley, and Ralphie. As we have a look at the tyres. So a few drivers on the medium tyres have stretched them out for 10 laps. So we'll probably be a lap or 2 away before they box again for the race, as we just see Josh clip the outside barrier on that long left-hand kinkage straight. So Drogon is in the pits, and now Lufus inherits the race lead as Drogon does bolt on the hard tyres to see him to the end of this Grand Prix. James Gardner up to second. Josh Tagai is into the pits as well. He's going to bolt on the hards as Runes coming down the pit straight, and Runes has I believe he's got past LB at some point. I'm sorry if I missed that. I know there are people very keen to see these two duel in Tier 3, as Runes has got the better of LB Racing at the moment, and pulling a nice gap as well. But Runes does have fresher tyres by 5 laps on LB Racing. LB Racing having to pit early doors for front wing damage, which he sustained on the first lap. So we haven't seen a proper full safety car yet, which is promising. All 14 drivers left in the race, as Bacon Bear comes across the line to start lap 12. As Lufus arounds the penultimate corner, reaching half race distance now in the Mercedes. we do have yellow flags out there. There is a car spun around, and that is Nemo, has found the barrier but gets the Williams pointing the right way as we get back under green flag conditions. So Drogon is catching up to the back of James Gardner ahead. James Gardner having a better race today. We will see how, well, once pit stops have transpired, how this is going to shape up out the front here. Be interesting to see where James and LB feed out into the field, and then we will have a straight run. And also remember, Lufis is anticipated to pit again. It's not definite, but we are expecting a Lufis pit stop. So Drogon 1.3 seconds behind, James Gardner ahead. And we'll see what the hard runners do. You can just see Drogon has so much confidence through that left-right hander. He doesn't get DRS, unfortunately, just missing the detection point before he gained that massive chunk of time. But Drogon now is on the back of the Ferrari, and just look how much quicker he is through the corners. And James Gardner has had enough of those hard tyres. Into the pits comes the Ferrari. Okay, we're trademarking my commentary lines I see in the chat. Anything goes in the Human Rights Grand Prix. Anything goes. Lufis in the Mercedes leads the way once again in Tier 3. As well, mediums, we saw a few of the few people in the first stint do 11 laps on mediums, so it's doable. Josh DeGuy is retired from the session, and we do have a VSC. Josh DeGuy has binned it into turn 4. Turn 4 was always going to claim a victim tonight. As is that a full course safety car? I don't think so. I think it's a VSC. Yeah, it's a VSC, so a few drivers may be cursing their luck who would have had a good chance to get back in this race. As yes, Josh DeGuy, his bad start goes from bad to worse. He will be absolutely devastated to bin it there like that. You would think if Lufis... Yes, he is coming into the pits. As into the pits comes Lufis. And now, this is very long VSC, by the way. This will help him centerfold as he does box for hard tyres. As still yellow flags out there, and he's got this pit stop done nicely as Lufis. And the gap is, well, it's not a true gap actually, because we are under VSC conditions, as Bacon Bear picks up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC. But Bacon Bear has gained a position finally in this race at Josh's expense. Runes is in the pits as well. Yes, a few others are in the pits, but just timed it a bit too late, I would say. It's going to be a bit of a long slog for towards the end of this race, but there are positions to be had for these cars ahead, as Runes has a nice gap over LB Racing. So James Gardner was definitely the biggest winner out of that VSC there as well. Lufis is kind of a winner. The gap is only 6 seconds, and we've seen Lufis's pace. You saw Runes get a drive-through. Let's quickly have a look at the penalty situation then. Runes does have a drive-through penalty. Wow. Okay, I do apologise. You've got better eyes than me in the chat, Daka. Maybe I need to buy some spectacles. As yes, Runes does have them. Bacon Bear is now retired, and I'm not too sure where that is or what that's for. That's real rotten luck for Bacon Bear, unless that was in the pits. It was pits. That's a shame. Bacon Bear still could have scored some good points. Yeah, it was in the pits. I see now. So Lufis is now on the case of Drogon. The gap is 5.6 seconds as Runes has got past Robsu, but Runes needs to box within the next 2 laps. It's either this lap or the next lap, I believe. He's got to pit. Otherwise, he will be disqualified from the session. And we do not like DSQs. As Robsu catches the sausage curb and throws his car out massively. LB Racing down in 9th has had a terrible race thus far as the Ferrari driver, as his teammate on the other hand is sitting 18 seconds behind Lufis ahead, but is comfortably in 3rd as it stands, because Stanley in 4th does have a 3-second penalty, and if Tia can stay within 3 seconds of Stanley, he will claim P4. Joey B is also in the hunt as well. Never rule out Joey B. He is very consistent when he wants to be. Runes, on the other hand, I can imagine will drop down to 9th position once he has served his drive-through penalty. Drogon now has 3 seconds out front, as Runes goes for a move up to the inside of Joey B there, but Runes will have to box this lap. The gap between P2 and P3. We do have a potential for Runes versus LB. We do indeed, but I think they might just be a bit too close, as now Tia gets his obligationary track limits penalty. He always gets one. So yeah, LB and Runes, yeah, possibly there could be a chance that they do duel again, but I think maybe LB could be a bit too far ahead with the remaining laps. So Lufis just needs to find 0.7 of a second, and he sets fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap, just really pressing down on the jugular of Drogon ahead. But Drogon is on course for a podium here today. Ralphie, the next driver, to get 3 seconds, as I believe Runes will have to serve his drive-through this lap. He does indeed. Into the pits for the Mercedes Star. Down the pit lane for Runes. As LB does get past, as Stanley has retired. And is that turn 4 claiming another victim there? It is. Wow. So that is 2 drivers who have bit the turn 4 barrier, but no VSC, no safety car. As wow, Stanley has dropped it. The inside tyre has just clipped the inside wall, and that is it. Good night. It is an early finish for Stanley, who can go and have a nice early bath to stew over that error he has made there. Lufis now needs 0.2 of a second to potentially take the net lead of this race. This game does not want a safety car. Yeah, I'll agree with you there. And the safety car would make things ultra spicy towards the end, but there have been two races who have really exceeded at this track today and thrived under their raw pace, and that is Drogon and Lufis out front, and a very good shout for James Gardner in P3 at the moment. 21 seconds behind Lufis, but 11.7 seconds ahead of Tyr, and Joey B is now within the 3 seconds he needs to leapfrog Tyr and take P4. So the LB Runes battle could happen, but Runes does have 6 seconds worth of penalties, and Runes is having a night to forget on the streets of Jeddah. So Lufis has closed up the gap to 1.5 seconds. His raw pace to the car ahead is very telling, as across the line they come to start lap 20 of 25. 6 racing laps left to go around this Saudi Arabia circuit. Yeah, the 3 seconds is very costly for Drogon, but Lufis's pace is borderline criminal at the moment. Having a fantastic drive in the Mercedes, and although Drogon is kind of out of his misery already, but I think Lufis will want to take this race first on track as well. It's always nice to win, but you want to be the first car across the line as well. You don't want to win because of a penalty ahead of you, but I guess people were happy to win either way. But we will ride on board with Lufis, as I think that will be battle done for the lead once this overtake is done. Lufis just sitting on the gearbox of that Kicksauber, pulls out to the right, and the overtake is done by the first grid slot down the pit straight, and Lufis can breathe a sigh of relief as he is through and now into the lead in the Mercedes, and that is going to be job done, I would like to say, without tempting fate or putting a commentator's curse on it. That could be a job done for Lufis today. So that is pretty much the closest battle on the track at the moment. We do have LB Racing on the back of Robsu. LB could be jumping up to P6 very soon. So LB is now the closest driver to the car in front of him, and has he passed Robsu just very conservatively, leaving each other space there as LB swoops around the outside of the Kicksauber. They gave each other space. I think Robsu did make slight contact with the Ferrari, but LB was on the outside there and did his very best to avoid any contact there. So it's a good overtake there from LB Racing, as now he sits 6.8 seconds behind Joey B ahead, and we do have yellow flags. There is somebody in the wall, or there was. Not sure who, what, where, or why. So we started this race with 14 cars. We have lost 3 drivers, Josh Tagai and Stanley, both falling foul to turn 4, as now Robsu's had a little spin. Yeah, thank you guys for pulling that, pointing that out for me. Yes, so Robsu's had a spin. Stanley and Josh Tagai retired, clipping the inside barrier at turn 4. Bacon Bear just calling it a day in the pits after they sustained a drive-through penalty under the VSC. Robsu lighting up the rear tyres and potentially looked like he's going into the pits to maybe go for the fastest lap. So Joey B has fallen out the required 3 seconds to close in, and there was yellow flags again, but that seems to have cleared itself up towards the back. Since Lufus has got past Drogon, Drogon has held onto the back of the Mercedes very nicely and is looking for an overtake into turn 1. Ralphie has retired in the pit lane as well on lap that would be lap 22 for Ralphie, but a lap down, and not sure whether he's completed the race distance to get his points for today's race. Only Ghost will be able to tell us that when he chops up the results in the next day or two. So just when we thought this race was done, Drogon is keeping Lufus honest out front. The gap has stayed within a second, as there is a bit of overtaking going on here between LB Racing and Runes. So these two coming together, and LB Racing is having absolutely none of it. That was clumsy by LB Racing. That was very clumsy by the Ferrari driver. And he's completely lost his head now, as he's going to lose a place to Robsu. LB Racing will have no front wing at all. No, that will be absolutely hideous going through sector 1 without a front wing. And LB Racing has confined himself to 8th position and pretty much gifted Rune's P6. As already drivers getting their flexing their best times for tier 2 tomorrow in the qualifying. For qualifying, I can see LB Racing gets 3 seconds there for his woes as well. I must have missed a point with Drogon here. He is 9.3 seconds behind Lufus now, so maybe he's made an error somewhere. So Lufus has pretty much all but confirmed his race win now, as yes, Drogon is missing half a front wing actually. Maybe not enough time for James Gardner to catch up to the car ahead, but we will keep a keen eye on that gap ahead. Remember that Drogon does have 3 seconds worth of penalties, but the gap to Drogon sits at 17.7 seconds. So Lufus is starting lap 25 of 25. So around the first 2 corners comes Lufus, and it's got a 3-car battle there at the back between MS Nemo and LB Racing. LB Racing will be looking to storm ahead of the 2 cars here and try and claw back P8. Yeah, there's only 10 drivers left in this Grand Prix. We've had 4 retirements. And almost nearly 5 retirements with LB's suicidal lunge at Runes. But take nothing away from Lufus. Joey B is just going to fall short of a P4 result here as well, just 3.8 seconds behind Tier. So Tier is looking like he's going to secure P4 in the McLaren. So one more corner to negotiate for the Mercedes, and it will be 2 wins out of 2. Around the final corner he comes. There's nothing to worry about now. He is on the home straight, and he has got the job done. There's the checkered flag on the right-hand side. Lufis takes the race win, as LB has got himself involved in another scuffle behind, from what I could see with the Aston Martin. Drogon is going to come home in P2, missing half a front wing, but a very solid result for Drogon. James Gardner is going to come home in the most lonely P3 we have seen in a long time, as James Gardner takes the podium, the final spot on the podium, in third position. Drogon has left the session, but he is P2. Tier around the last corner, as Runes has got past Joey B. I'm wondering if Joey B is really struggling with tyre wear, but Joey B will come home in P5 thanks to Runes' penalties. And actually, Tier might be out of fuel potentially. No, Joey B has nicked a podium. Joey B's fourth. Sorry, I got excited for no reason. Joey B is fourth. I'm wondering if Tier ran out of fuel there right at the end, or maybe it could well be due to the incident. Maybe he wanted to keep his nose clean and offered Joey B P4. That's my early prediction as to why he gave up that position like that. So Lufis again takes top prize on the top of the podium. Thank you, Kevin, for your kind words. The drivers celebrate on the podium. It should be Drogon on the podium, but Drogon had to leave the lobby fairly quickly. So Lufis is the race winner. The fastest lap went to Lufis as well. Most overtakes went to LB Racing, and the cleanest driver to James Gardner. So race results very quickly. Lufis comes home in first position. James Gardner is in third. Drogon was in second position. So Joey B in fourth, Tier in fifth, Robsu in sixth, Runes in seventh, Drogon in eighth. Nemo in eighth. MS in 9th, LB Racing down in 10th, Ralphie 11th, and then Ralphie wasn't classified, so we only had 10 finishers. Phew. That was hard work. It's never easy when Drogon leaves the session and just completely makes it hard work for me to try and work out the final standings. So there we have it. Just last job to do is to pick a driver of the day for Tier 3. It's between 2 drivers for me. I'm torn between Drogon and James Gardner. And I think I'm going to give it to Drogon, just purely because he doesn't often finish a race. He has good qualifying pace, but he got pole position and he's finished on the podium and made very few mistakes. I know he is half a front wing, but I think Drogon does deserve driver of the day for today. Right. So I think that is it for this week in Tier 3. As always, I will nudge you in the direction of Tier 2 tomorrow with Ghost and Daka in the commentary box as Tier 2 goes around Jeddah. Tier 1 is on Friday at 7:30 UK time. It might be Sumo commentating. Could well be. I'm not too sure of the commentary situation on Fridays at the moment. And then on Sunday at 8 o'clock, we will be going to Jeddah for the final time in APP this week. as the best of the best battle it out around the street circuit. And last of all, please do pester Ghost to upload the podcast. Everyone get in the Discord and just tag him to upload the podcast. Right, so thank you very much for tuning in and listening to the comms. Sorry, I'm just catching up with the tier 3 chat. It has come to life after that race. We will sure we'll all dive into there and see what's happening. So thank you all for tuning in and listening. Thanks for your comments and interactions throughout the race. I have been Lawrence, your commentator for tonight. Have a good week, and I will see you on track tomorrow. Goodbye.